This video deals with the solution of linear equations in one variable. In other words, we're going to be solving linear equations which just have one variable. And for such equations, the solutions are obtained by making the single variable the subject of the formula. We've just dealt with the topic of changing the subject of the formula, and that is essentially what you do to obtain solutions to linear equations. So here's an example. It's more like revision now because you already know everything about changing the subject of a formula. Here's an example. Solve for the unknown variable x in the following equation. To solve for the unknown variable, or to solve this equation, you just need to make x a subject of the formula. When you make x a subject of the formula, you can then say x is equal to something, because the question says solve for the unknown variable. We want to know what value the unknown variable takes, and you achieve this by making x a subject of the formula. So just because you know everything about changing subject of formula, I'm just going to rush through the solution. So adding 4 to both sides, get rid of the minus 4, because we're trying to isolate x on the left hand side. So adding 4 to both sides to preserve the equality, we do the same thing to the right hand side as the left hand side. You get x equals 7, and that's simply the solution to this equation. So this is a really easy example. Here's another example. Solve for the unknown variable, in this case p, in the following equation. 9 equals 15p minus 1. We want to know what value p takes. We want to make p the subject of formula. That is the meaning of this question. And you know you want to isolate p on the left hand side. So a first logical step is to swap the left hand side term with the right hand side term so that the term involving p now appears on the left hand side. So we're getting closer to the final solution. So doing so gives 15p minus 1 equals 9. You've seen this before. Swapping the left hand side and right hand side terms of an equation changes nothing, because it's still an equation saying the same thing equals the same thing. You just saying it the other way around. Now getting rid of the minus 1 by adding 1 to both sides gives 15p minus 1 plus 1 equals 9 plus 1. Simplifying gives 15p equals 10. Therefore, just to get p, to isolate p on the left side, let's get rid of the 15. And you do that by dividing through by 15. You get rid of the 15 by dividing through by 15. Doing so gives the following. 15 and 15, 1. So we have p, now isolated on the left hand side, equals 10 over 15. And this can be simplified to give 5 and 10, 2, 5 and 15, 3, in case you don't know. I'm dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number 5. 5 and 10 is 2, 5 and 15 is 3. So this is just a simple case of division. So the solution to the equation is p equals 2 over 3. And what does that mean? It means that when p is 2 over 3, the equation is satisfied, and we can test it out. So let's see what happens when we replace p with 2 over 3. The left hand side is 9. So it's for us to see if the right hand side is also 9 when p is 2 over 3. Well, when p is 2 over 3, we have 15 times p minus 1, which gives 3 here, 1, 3 here, 5. That's 5 times 2 is 10 minus 1, which is 9. Or another way to do it is to say 15 times 2, which is 30, divided by 3 is 10 minus 1, 9. As you can see, when p is 2 over 3, the right hand side is also 9, which is the same as the left hand side. So the equation is satisfied when p is 9, and that's the solution to the equation. The solution to the equation is the value for the unknown variable, which causes the equation to be satisfied. But don't forget, we've just been dealing with equations which only involve one variable, just one variable term. Here, as you can see, x is the only variable, 4 is a number, 3 is a number. Here you can see that p is the only variable, 9 is a number, 1 is a number. But just to take it a step further, you can have an equation in one variable, but that variable can appear more than one. So you can have an equation like 2x equals x plus 3. This equation is still just in one variable because the only variable that appears is x, even though it appears twice. If you had an equation 2x equals y plus 3, then now you have two different variables. So take note of that. In this equation, if we were to solve it, we just need to determine a value of x which satisfies the equation. We literally just need to make x the subject of the formula, and this can be achieved as follows. Subtract x from both sides so that you can have all the x's on the left hand side. So we want to get rid of x from the right hand side, so we subtract x from the right hand side, but we have to do the same thing to the left hand side. This gives 2x minus x equals x plus 3 minus x. Simplifying, the left hand side gives x. The right hand side can be rearranged as x minus x plus 3. So I'm just swapping the position of 3 and minus x. which gives x equals 0 plus 3, which gives x is 3. So what this means is that when x is 3, this equation is satisfied. When x is 3, this left hand side term is 2 times 3, which is 6. And for the right hand side, x is 3, and left hand side is 6 when x is 3, right hand side is 3 plus 3, which is 6 as well. So x equals 3 satisfies this equation, because this is an equation in one variable. Here's another example of an equation where the same variable appears more than once. So I have the equation 6x plus 3 equals x, or let's say 2x minus 1. Solving this equation just involves making x a subject of the formula, and when x is a subject of the formula, it would be isolated on left hand side. So a good first step is to take all terms involving x to the left hand side. We have a 2x term on the right hand side, so let's get rid of this 2x term. So let's subtract x from the right hand side, and also do the same thing to the left hand side to preserve equality. So subtracting 2x from both sides gives this expression. Simplifying the left hand side gives 4x plus 3. So this is just 6x minus 2x. Or just to make sure I don't skip any steps, you can rearrange these two terms to give this. Also here you can rearrange these two terms to swap minus 1 with minus 2x, just the positions, to give this. So now you can see that 6x minus 2x is 4x, that plus 3 equals 2x minus 2x is 0, so all we have is just minus 1 left. Now, taking 3 to the right hand side, or subtracting 3 from both sides, so to get rid of the 3, on the left hand side gives this. As you can see, 3 minus 3 is 0, so that gives 4x equals minus 1 minus 3, minus 4. Dividing through by 4, so you can isolate x on the left hand side, gives x equals minus 4 over 4. I divide through by 4. 4 here, 1. So we have x equals minus 4 over 4. X equals minus 1. That's the solution to the equation. The only peculiar thing here was that x appeared more than once, but it's the same variable, it's a single variable. So by now you understand that solving an equation involving just one variable simply requires one to make that variable the subject of the formula, and you know all about changing the subject of the formula now.